How does the cycle of three manifest in V, W, and X? Well, V is 22, W is 23, and X is 24. So we just covered how the letter U is set up by the universe to show you that you are not the body. You are not the mind. You are not the soul. You are not your imagination. You are the space creating these things, and you are the spirit that is communicating your desire to connect and show us what you have going on in your internal world externally. So you are now using light to do so. And this is what all these things are, light in many different forms that you as nothingness are using to express yourself. And it's only by creating these forms that we can all connect on as spirits that we're able to bring our individual fruits from our personal tea garden to the universe and share them with gods outside of ourselves. This is why we get trapped in a vibe. By connecting our two, our desire to connect, with the universe's two, the universe's desire to connect. By connecting these twos, we create a structure, a simulation that allows all spirits who want to connect in that same sort of vibration to come together and communicate to continue building these structures, which is what we're doing right now. As a spirit, to make yourself as relatable as possible, you trap your mind inside of a body so you can use your soul to believe in all the same things that everyone else in that body is. So now you're able to create this body of water that connects everyone subconsciously. And now all the light, all the form that we're creating to connect on matters because we use our feelings to give them meaning. Now, in order to be as relatable as possible, you must forget certain aspects of who you were in other simulations and other lifetimes before that simulation life. So then this is the point of why the spirit would suppress memories from itself so that it can be asleep inside of the simulation and fully enjoy. It can be unaware of who it truly is and instead be this more specific part of itself, right? So this is where if a spirit just got done murdering a bunch of people in past simulations and doing a lot of traumatic things, then if it wants to ignore that, it's going to spend this next simulation being a little girl. And it's only going to be perceived as a little girl, and it's only going to channel its personality into being a little girl so that it doesn't have those same experiences. This is the point of consciousness. So this is why all energy is transforming, everything is dying. And we can't die, but the way that we feel like connecting with ourselves is always changing. Therefore, we are always dying subconsciously. So in order to fully ride the wave of and react to the vibe that you are trapped in, it's important that you forget a certain amount of who you are. And by forgetting, by shutting off your awareness of who you've been, you can then fully project your soul, project your belief into the present moment of this new simulation and relate with the collective consciousness on everyone else's level. And then this is how we can all agree what's real. This is how we create reality. Or else we're all too individual and there's nothing productive happening. So your spirit turns your awareness off at the beginning of your life so your body can get fully acclimated to the reality that it's in and focus way more on reacting and absorbing the culture so it can be water and integrate. And then over the course of your life, your spirit slowly introduces its fire, introduces its imagination to you in a way that you can then introduce to the world that's actually grounded and stable instead of just burning up and transforming everybody around you. And that's the point of us using language to then develop a relationship with words and the people around us and ourselves and learn how to channel our fiery, unrelatable individuality into this more relatable structure that we're all agreeing is real. Now we can actually build something together. So creating realities like this with language and words and forms and taking time to build a relationship with them and agreeing on this relationship together and getting all these waters, all this subconscious universe stuff, this is how we as gods have to share our visions with one another. So we all have our own fiery individual imaginations. And because we desire to connect them with one another, we must create these sort of circumstances where we turn off our awareness and then believe in certain things that we can all believe and agree upon that then allow us to bring our fire into that realm and slowly express ourselves in ways that are more agreeable. Versus if we never turned into water, air, and earth and we were just straight fire. And then we're just like projecting at each other and no one understands anything. And that's actually hell. So sharing your visions directly with another spirit is impossible because as a space creating fire, only you can see that fire. So it takes you igniting that fire into the watery vibe that you're trapped in, so you create air. And that air is your mind. That's now you communicating your visions, communicating your imagination through the earth structure that you've created, aka your body, which is meant to stabilize your mind. And then that looks like this, where my body is being animated by the intentions, the fire of my spirit hitting the water that this body is a part of, so it can create this chi that animates the earth to then use specific words in a specific way based on my intentions and my feelings. So now you see how each word reflects an intention, and then the vibration that it's writing reflects how I feel or something like that, right? And now we have life because it's masculine and feminine. We have light and dark, and that comes together to express a spirit, and that's everything all the time. So everything is constantly being created from nothing because we are communicating our desire to connect our imaginations to someone else. And it takes us creating water to do that, which is why we have this cycle then of fire 1, 2 is water, that creates 3, the chi, the air, which is us communicating everything, and the structures are all animated by how we communicate. This is why V is the body, the ego, the desire to create simulations so you can connect and communicate your individual visions with other spirit gods. So once you, as spirit playing God because you created something that you want to share with other gods, so you're spirit becoming God, spirit is nothing, God is the fire. Once you find yourself in a body, trapped in a very dense vibe, it's time to start asking the double you. Where are you? When are you? What are you? Who are you? Why are you? Asking questions, as we know, powers the soul. So it's no coincidence that W is pronounced double U, double God. There's 2 U's connecting to make the double U here. 1 U is fire, double U is water. Your soul, your personal W, your personal waters, are created by you connecting your 2 W's, your 2 gods, your man and your woman, together. Now, the soul is overall water, yes. It is created, though, by a spirit combining itself and cycling through its own emotions. And these emotions are connected to its imagination. So it's about balance. The spirit then becomes the mind when it starts to communicate these things. So the soul and the mind are interrelated, but the soul is water and the mind is air. So the soul is a spirit connecting with itself, and the mind is a spirit communicating with itself. The soul is a spirit connecting with others, connecting with the universe. The mind is a spirit communicating with the universe. So we can only communicate as far as we're connected. That's why the soul, again, is water and the mind is air. And it has to be water into air because the soul is before the mind. You feel like speaking before you speak. The letter W, double U, shows us how simulation waters are created, the astral realm is created by all of us as spirits, all of us as individual W's connecting to the collective W, which is the universe overall. So there are two U's. There's you and the universe, which is made up by all the other U's that have nothing to do with you. And nothing to do with you means that they have spirit to do with you. So everyone has nothing to do with you. And really, that is the simple, direct answer to the double U. Where are you? Connected to the universe. Universe, you need a verse in this cosmic song because water is music and we are constantly cycling through our emotions. Who wants to play the same song over and over again for infinity? I'm definitely trying to make new music like every day. So W shows us that all of us as spirits are collaborating to create this wonderful wet water, this world wide web that creates our universal vibe, all because we feel like connecting our individuality together. Literally, we create the universe. We create this triple W energy because we feel like connecting our fire to other individuals. And it's only possible through water, aka through connecting our individuality to a collective energy, thus creating communication and balance. And then we're constantly playing with balance because we all have our own idea of what balance is based on how we cycle through our own emotions. So feelings create water. And with W being 23, this shows us that our feeling, our desire to connect with communication and be able to communicate with other spirits results in phi, physical reality. It results in us connecting with death. So W shows us that our desire to go from being one God to being with other gods means that we must all die in water, in the world wide web, in the wonderful wet wonderland that we've created that we call the universe. W shows us that we're always dying, we're always fine, because the soulful feelings of our spirits that power the universe are constantly transforming our bodies into new forms so we can continue to grow. So through our desire to express our gifts to others, we, as individual yous, create a collective you, a wet, water, wonderful world where we can all take our fire and ignite it into this triple W water realm and actually create air where we can then communicate with other gods, thus allowing us to vibe, die, and phi together as one big family. So once you, as a spirit, find that you're trapped in the dense vibe of an ego earth body, then it is only asking questions that will free you from that vibe and connect you to the world wide web, the wet, wonderful astral realm waters that are actually creating the earth that you find your body trapped in. Thus, you can get to the collective you, and now you went from one you to double you. There's you, an individual God. You are the center of your own universe. And then there is the you, or TU, the collective universe. The whole universe being built by all the gods, all the spirits that are outside of your universe. That is the double you. There's you and everyone who's building the world outside of yourself. The answer to the soul's W question of where, when, and why is trapped in a dense earth ego V body is the spirit airily communicating its imagination through X. X being the sacrifice, hanging your individuality on a cross crafted from a tree. This is why being in the body is to be of sin. You're sacrificing your individual God so you can create the circumstances where you can connect with other individual gods. Otherwise, all of us as gods would be way too individual to be able to relate or communicate or build anything together. This forgetfulness means that as a spirit, you are the furthest away from God as you can possibly be, because you are the furthest away from your space due to using your mind to believe, to make your soul invest in being a body instead of your imagination. So now your imagination naturally trickles out, but your soul does not believe in your imagination like it believes in the world that your imagination chose to make a body in so it can share itself with other imaginations. And when you as a spirit are using your mind to believe that you are a collective body and not an individual soul, then that's where you can get open up to believing that you're not creating your life. And then someone else can step in and make you think that they are creating you. And then that's where you connect to someone who then harvests your power and harvests your energy and sucks you dry. So in our cycle of 3, V is the ego light, because it is the watery earth body that you find yourself trapped in so you can vibe with other individuals. Why? Well, that's the deep W watery soul that powers your body every single day. Why are you alive right now? Why are you in a body? That is a pretty deep well right there. That's very subconscious. W is very subconscious. The subconscious is wild. And the fact is, no matter how deep and dark your W well is for being trapped in a very dense vibe, the fact is you cannot communicate and express what you want when you want. So this is where you then learn that you have X'd out your imagination to connect with other imaginations. You have created a situation where you've sacrificed your true individuality on the cross so you can actually express it to others in a more controlled and relatable way. No one can truly see your imagination except you, because only you are God in your individual space. And it takes you sacrificing your godlyhood, sacrificing your individuality, so you can create the circumstance to connect with other gods, and thus be able to share the fruits of your labor and bring your gifts from the internal to the external.